expecting Sonko to be walking through those doors and we see him also being ferried to the courts, arraigned in courts this morning.
Before you see red berets there, he will not be ready to come out.
Before we see the red berets,
when you see red berets, you know he's about. So let's continue because we know these places.
No, I just didn't want to miss that particular moment. Just but continue.
When you see the red berets, you'll know he's about to come out. These ones are humble people. Now you see, what I noticed.
Yes.
What I noticed in that village, and this is generally what's happening in the central, because that's not the first time and not the first village, is that the president is already succeeding. How? If you talk to older people, they are already on the side of the president. And he's saying, we loved Ruto, we were going to make him president, but he's attacking our son. You see, it's already succeeding. So that anger, and that speaking in Gikuyu, is earning the president something. He has bypassed the Kionis of central Kenya, those who are opposing him. And he's talking to the people. He already has the old people. In the next phase, he will have the younger people. And that's why I've always told my colleague here, my fellow panelist, Alice, at some point, and as the Mount Kenya people are known to do, they make their decision at some point, not very far from the D-Day, and they will all face Mount Kenya. Kioni, take over from there.
Kioni, in fact, we should come to you because I think also the speaker stopped you dead on your tracks. You wanted, later last week, we know that you wanted to retreat over to Mombasa to discuss the BBI. And of course, we know your parliamentary committee is charged with the implementation of the constitution. So you wanted to discuss the BBI report. And we know the speaker came forth saying there will be no money allocated to any discussions. So this was you, the chair of the CRC, and also Justice and Legal Affairs counterpart, this is William Cheptumo, who is also urging Kenyans not to focus on the method of implementation of the BBI. And he said, he was very categorical, if you want to go to Mombasa, use your own money, not the taxpayers' money.
But that's very different from the agameta that you are saying.
But the agameta is, no. Yeah.
I want to talk about that and come to that.
I'm just looking at my time as well because I don't want you to walk out of these studios before we focus on this as well.
I'll come to that. By the way, I had highlighted it just in case you didn't bring it up because I thought you wouldn't. There's a statement by Muturi captured by The Nation. I was going to bring it out here. But what I wanted to say first and foremost is it's very uncomfortable to some of us to see the level of anger that the president is, he finds himself in. And those of us who have worked with him closely in the past really get concerned and almost having sleepless nights. It's not the best of things to see a leader of a nation, your leader, person you respect, getting that angry. And other than for the fact that access is not easy, you really would want to know what can one do? How can one help to deal with the issues? And maybe the issues will never be taught to you.
Right.
But
so
I mentioned something.
I'm sorry to button there. We have Sonko.
Oh, there he goes.
There he is now. Yeah, looking
calm.
Very subdued this morning.
Very calm.
And he's expected to be arraigned in court this morning. He's actually spent the weekend at the EACC offices. Do we have, I don't know, Okongo Magini, just let me understand, do we have cells within the EACC or what?
Yeah,
or,
no.
How are you being held?
What used to happen
how do they hold someone at the EACC?
What used to happen is that we used to have problems. You know, I served as a chair of that commission.
You used to be, yes.
And there used to be problems when you arrest suspects, you don't know where to detain them. So we did approach former commissioner, the one who was vying to be senator for Elgeyo Marakwet. What was his name? The first commission under the 2010 constitution, Kimaiu. And he gazetted EACC as a police station.
So it is a police station.
It
is gazetted.
Station duly gazetted.
Good to know. I was just wondering how.
Duly gazetted. I think that happened around. It happened around 2011. And you know, Dibali, we have made a lot of progress because initially we used to see cases where hands or pockets of particular office holders. I think that we have made tremendous progress in the fight against corruption.
Right. So just a moment, we just have to appreciate also our, we're trying to capture this moment, so the pictures are a bit shaky, so this is live, and of course that is the joy of live TV. So our cameraman is actually following there, that entourage that is headed to the courts right now. Sorry?
Very civil.
Very civil today. Yeah, we saw also from the start that Sonko has actually called on his supporters not to really show up and just to remain calm. If they are supportive of him, it should be in their houses at home, so they should not come out in force.
He's learning to obey the law. And
He's learning to obey the law.
We hope to see a more civil Sonko going forward, you know.
This is the way it should be.
They should fight like an innocent
No
person, not
drama,
like
no
a thug.
silence, and you know.
Okay, so but is this just posturing for the cameras? You know, because
I think
we've
they
seen
know
here-
they made a mistake initially, the way they arrested him. And they are trying to
It
make a
wasn't a
amends.
mistake. It
And
wasn't a
appreciate it.
mistake.
I don't think Manyora is
it wasn't
reading
a
the same
mistake.
picture. I think the supporters of Sonko have seen that you don't play around with the rule of law. You don't
That's
play
true, of
around with the
course.
police. You don't play around with the government. Above everything else, there is the law, and it must be enforced on all of us,
All of us.
irrespective.
Equality
And,
before the law.
if he himself was arrested, who are you as a supporter?
And Ibal, remember that
But,
the way you conduct yourself
yes.
will determine whether the court will be
favorably.
sympathetic
Yes.
to give you bail. So if you misbehave, you create the impression that you are going to create disorder, then
You'll
the
be-
court may deny
you'll
you
be-
bail. So I
you'll be
think
held
he
in
must
for-
have been advised by his lawyers that, look, so that you make it easy for us to argue for your case for bail, behave well, you know, don't try to mobilize people to come and cause any disruption. That makes it easier for him when finally a request is made before the court that please grant this guy bail. But if you cause chaos, that may make it very hard for you.
Which is helping all of us to send the same message, that we must remain law-abiding citizens.
All of us.
All of us. And when you are law-abiding, there will be peace, everything will be
You
handled
will be
properly,
protected by
and
the
you'll
same
be
law.
protected by the same people who are arresting you.
Yeah, but we've seen these goons. Let's talk about the goons around Sonko as well, and especially what happened with the former chair of NCBDA, Tim Muriuki, beaten black and blue, you know, falling on the ground, and nothing was actually done to these goons. This is not the first time this has really happened. So people are actually having bugbears and fears on, approaching Sonko or any whereabouts about Sonko's. He may be on the other side of the law, on the wrong side of the tracks of the law. No one will actually push the agenda because you don't know what will really happen with the goons. So, can we talk about this particular
I think
goons?
I'm the right person to talk about it.
Yes, please.
Because I appear to be talking for him. You see, I removed this from Sonko. What happened to that gentleman at that hotel is despicable. We cannot allow such a things to happen. But I'm completely removing Sonko from it. And I'm saying, where is government? Where is law enforcement? These are known people. They are they have done criminal acts. They have turned somebody's father, somebody's husband into something you cannot even want to talk about. They have injured a person in the full glare of cameras.
Yes.
And there were Kenyans watching, staff of the hotel, passers-by, customers of the hotel, and nothing has happened to these people. I cannot put this to Sonko.
Yes.
I am looking at government in the eye and telling government, where are you? Do we have a government? How safe are we? If somebody can be manhandled in that manner, assaulted in that manner, embarrassed and dragged through mud, both literally and otherwise, and government has done nothing about it. We cannot talk about Sonko. We have to talk about government. We have to talk about the Inspector General of Police. We have to talk about the justice system in this country. Because if we talk about Sonko, we'll be missing the point. That's the point I'm making.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know if my director CK may just try and put a split of what we had also on trying to capture this from YouTube, where these guys, the goons, were actually beating Tim Muriuki as we are discussing, so that at least we can show you the gravity of what really Mohamed Manyora is really talking about.
You know that
Which
the
court is
truth.
even taken? It's been a while.
You know that.
Milimani.
It doesn't look like Milimani.
It doesn't look like. I think also the traffic is a bit slow and it's a wet
Is that
morning as well.
Milimani? I mean, it doesn't look like.
This may be
It is
Yeah.
somewhere else, but the truth
Those
of the
barriers
matter.
are at
Fairview.
Fair.
That is
Yeah,
fair
use
view.
that
Right.
true.
They are-
Actually,
they are
I asked to say something.
The-
Yes.
The truth of the matter, this is not about government. You know, goons are having their, what we call their commander. So if you want to deal with goons, if you want to deal with people who are responsible for this crime, make sure that we do not have sacred cows. So you have to go for the real honor of the goons. And I think as you go for the goons who are actually puppets in somebody's game, you also go for the real honor. I am happy to see Sonko today, a humble person, getting into a van without trying to bite a policeman. These police people are also our people, and also
He had
agreeing
beaten a
to,
man before.
yes.
He did that in Voi.
And what is going on? He is going to defend himself in a civilized way in court, because that is where you will get justice. So allow yourself to go to court, assemble as much defense as you can, and allow courts to treat you as an innocent person. But if we allow a situation where power gets into our heads and we think we cannot be apprehended or we cannot be dealt with in court, I think that is where we breed impunity. And I'm happy if, because of any misfortune, I'm arrested in future, I would like to work in court with my lawyer, Okongo Mogeni. He's afforded sufficient time to address court on my plight, and I'm allowed to go back to my place because I'm harmless and I'm a person who...
That's an official engagement.
Well, you never know, you could get into trouble. And if Omogeni or Manyora or Bwana Kioni, if you get into trouble, Omogeni and I are here, will represent you. And we hope,
to represent others.
yes, and we hope that all of us will agree to, you know, facilitate our representation in court in a civilized way.
But the police should not violate you and violate your rights in the process.
No,
This
if you are
see,
civilized,
there's a point I'm trying to make, that this bench doesn't seem
if you are
you want to
civilized,
ask yourself, if this is happening to Sonko, what is happening to ordinary citizens in this country? If you look at the man of arrest, the way police treat Kenyans, especially small people, if you go to Kibera law courts, the way that place stinks, the way they throw them in those cells, the way they are thrown on police lorries. If you look at the so-called Msako, the raids, when they are going into Chang'an dens, the way police treat people, and as leaders on this bench, you must not support it. The way Kenyans are arrested in estates,
I actually do
at
not...
loitering, gee, what and what.
I don't know why.
we don't
You
condone...
send your boy, you send your boy, a
We-
20
we
year,
don't- we
you
don't-
send your 18-year
we
boy to
don't
go and
condo-
buy something
No,
in
we
the
don't
shops,
condone that, eh?
and he's dragged and thrown into a police Land Rover. He's not given any...
All right, Haman, we seem to have arrived at the Milimani court, and we can see also the journalists, they are trying to, you know,